The last season of Yellowstone faces difficulties due of Kevin Costner's departure, but there's a concept for John Dutton that might make up for it. With Kevin Costner at the wheel since 2018, Yellowstone has produced some of the most thrilling Western television of the 21st century. The show, which Taylor Sheridan created, has received favorable reviews for a fair amount of time. The most current season will air in late 2022. Unfortunately, the publication of the final season has been hampered by delays caused by the SAG-AFTRA and WGA strikes, as well as behind-the-scenes intrigue. The second installment of Yellowstone Season 5 is slated to be the show's last installment, but Taylor Sheridan has already started adding spin-off series to the franchise. Other series set in the same world are in development, and two prequels, 1883 and 1923, have already been released. Regarding Yellowstone, it seems that Kevin Costner will not be coming back for the last season, therefore Sheridan will have to finish the show without the main character. This could mean that the show won't have the proper conclusion it deserves. The franchise's main character demonstrates how a bad ending for Yellowstone could have additional repercussions. Fans of Yellowstone may be able to see more of the character in a John Dutton prequel because Season 5 cannot. Taylor Sheridan is extremely happy with how he currently wraps up the show without Costner, according to a Puck story. Although it's great that Taylor Sheridan is sure he can complete Yellowstone without the lead character, the franchise will still be lacking something whether the show is a critical success or not. The central character in the Yellowstone franchise, played by Kevin Costner's John Dutton, may need to be the subject of more stories in order to sustain the series. Perhaps the best course of action would be a prequel series with John Dutton. Josh Lucas, the star of Yellowstone, who has portrayed John Dutton's younger self in flashbacks, was questioned about taking on the role in a prequel or upcoming Yellowstone spin-offs. As a reply, he said, "I also think it's a world that I would absolutely love to explore further. Lucas might be on board, but considering that he is 52 years old, it might even be worth investigating a Dutton character earlier in the story and hiring a young, promising actor who might rival Costner in screen presence. In any case, adding more John Dutton would be a fun way to keep the brand together. The Yellowstone character might have even more depth in a John Dutton prequel. John Dutton is arguably the most nuanced character in Yellowstone's amazing ensemble. His wealth, coupled with his abundance of land, and his dismissive nature as a father, make him appear despicable at first. John Dutton, however, upholds a code of honor, and when viewers are drawn into the expansive Montana landscape and lush Yellowstone ranch, it is easy to see why a man would wish to protect such beauty from contemporary businesses and urbanization. Prequels have the chance to delve much further. John Dutton feels like a character with an infinite wealth of stories to tell, and 5 Yellowstone seasons aren't enough to cover them. Dutton's lifelong defense of his land has worn him down, which is an essential component of his character. A wealth of anecdotes exist from his pre-Yellowstone days, tales of a love tragedy involving him and his late father, or the numerous threats he faced from politicians and businessmen looking to take advantage of him and his land. 5 Yellowstone seasons aren't enough to cover the stories John Dutton has to tell. He seems like a character with an endless supply of them. Is it possible for a John Dutton prequel to take place after Yellowstone ends? Anything seems conceivable with Taylor Sheridan's Western franchise Yellowstone, considering how many prequels and spin-offs are already in development. Since he's working on Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2, and the early stages of production for 2024, a spin-off that may star Matthew McConaughey, the creator hasn't discussed the prospect. In addition, Taylor Sheridan develops non-Yellowstone productions for Paramount+, such as Tulsa King and Mayor of Kingstown. If Taylor Sheridan plans to continue producing prequels about the Yellowstone Ranch, he may go back in time after 1923 and wind up in the early years of John Dutton. Since the character's birth year is fictitious, it is 1956, a show about his early years operating the ranch might easily transition into one about his boyhood spent exploring with father in the 1960s. Sheridan would probably take years, if not forever, to follow up on the John Dutton character because he is working on a number of other Yellowstone projects.